Welcome to the exciting conclusion of Waiting on the Trade, The Dream Journal. I'm Patrick Fitzgerald-Fleck, and as always, I'm joined by Matthew Ledger.
Hello.
And Michael Drew.
Yeah!
In this final episode, we're discussing Volume 0, or was it 11? I don't remember what they actually called
12, because Endless Nights is 11.
No, that's wrong. Well, we're discussing Volume 0, The Sandman Overture. All right, Matt, let's get that synopsis.
In Overture, we wind the clock back to 1915 and witness the near-cataclysmic events that set the stage for Morpheus's capture at the start of Sandman. We also dive deeper into the Sandman mythos, learning more about the Endless, the structure of the Sandman's cosmos, and perhaps most importantly, Dream himself.
We're here, guys. We made it. We've read all the core Sandman comics.
And again, if you missed our previous podcast about Endless Nights, it does exist. It's back there in the podcast feed or on YouTube. We're not going to relitigate it. It's good. We talked about it. We power ranked the stories.
Yeah.
We had different opinions about it.
Mike already gave his favorite issue of it, so I feel like we're all caught up.
Yeah.
The Desire one. Yeah.
Everyone's got the Endless Nights content that they need.
Yeah.
We can move on to this.
Desire's fine. Desire's great.
There you go.
Desire's who we appreciate. And cats. We like cats.
Well, there you go, Mike. You want to just go ahead and start us off?
Talk about cats? Sure, I'll start us off. What do I want to talk about?
Maybe your discussion question? I don't know.
I mean, we can do that. But why would we start following the template?
So, can I derail us actually before we?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's fucking derail. Go.
I think my question's actually a better first question.
Of course it is.
That's true.
Sure.
That's true.
Because I think it kind of
could be an ending question. It could equally fit.
That's what people are here for, though, right?
Sure.
I mean, like it's the question that I would be asking if I had read volumes 1 through 10, maybe Endless Nights. I hadn't read Overture, like you guys had not read Overture before this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know: did Neil Gaiman fuck it up? Did he George Lucas this shit?
There was no Sneedle.
Did he season 6 of Friday Night Lights this crap? Did he, Star Trek? What's the bad ones? Picard.
Hey there, friend. Hey there.
Hey, the majority of it is trash.
Hard redeemed himself. The first 2 seasons, you just don't watch. There are no the only season of Picard is 3. The other 2 don't exist.
I mean, that's true for a lot of Star Trek shows, so that's not
exactly.
really good.
Exactly.
But so to give context for Overture, Overture 6-issue miniseries released, I believe. The start of it landed like on the 25th anniversary of the Sandman.
Right.
And then it released very irregularly from there. I've got the single issues actually, so let me look at the cover dates for issue 1 and issue 6.
Yeah, I have
issue
the first
1,
2.
December 2013. Do you want to take a guess on when issue 6 is?
2018.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
2016.
November 2015. So
15.
Almost 2016. Pretty close. So
I remember
in the course of like 2 years.
Because I was jazzed, and I'm sure lots of people were, about, oh my god, I can actually pick up Sandman in the wild.
Oh yeah, I was super
issues.
pumped about it.
And then you got the first one. It's like, oh, I can't wait for the second one. You had to wait a little bit.
Let's see, the second one, because I think part of the reason they did that director's cut edition that I got you, Pat, of issue 1 is just to like put out content to remind people that it existed. Because the second issue didn't come out until September of 2014.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people probably fell right off this bad boy and probably didn't finish it. Like probably never finished it or read it all the way through. Because like,
I mean, that's me.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't remember. I think I was still regularly going to the comic shop for all those years. So I like saw it when I was there, but I would not have remembered that it existed if I was not going to the comic shop otherwise.
Sure. Yeah, I got the first. You gave me the first issue, and I don't know where I got the second one. I don't know if I picked it up or if you gave me it as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misreported the second issue. The second issue is May 2014, not September 2014. I was looking at 3. Don't want to exaggerate it.
Oh, there you go.
It's only about 6 months.
Yeah, I definitely got the first 2, read them, forgot about them, waited years, and now finally have read Overture.
And what did you think? Was Overture a worthwhile addition to the Sandman mythos? Was it good? Did you like it? Did he fuck it up?
Misa think that it would have been better off if there were a Jar Jar Binks version.
Something for the kids.
Hope Wonderful Lost Nebula was actually Boss Nass. You would have liked it more.
That's right.
I did it. I think it was worth it. Like I was thrown for a loop at the beginning because it's like there's plants and they're fucking talking and eating each other, but it was good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a very solid Sandman story. If you were to ask me, is it essential that people is it required reading? I would say probably not. I think it does a good job of answering some questions that people have. Like, I love the fact that he gave us the answer about who the parents of the Endless are. That's sweet.
I was thinking about it this morning, and I think it did a really fine, good job of walking the line that I think, a reader like you, especially Pat, would want of being a good story, but also doing enough of a lore dump here and there to be satisfying to people who just want to show up to get lore questions answered.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does a really good job of threading that needle by interweaving some stories in here and bringing the Endless's parents in, and it Glory shows up for a second, and we're gonna get into that, and his deal's not explained.
Yeah,
and again, we'll get into
probably
that.
My biggest question at this point.
Yeah, so it does a really good job of giving answers or hinting at more pieces of the lore, but not doing it too much, not just being an encyclopedia of endless things you wanted to know. It's a really good story. That's part of why I wanted to have us read it so we could talk about it, is because I really like it. I read J.H. Williams III's art is so good. He might actually be my favorite Sandman artist. I don't know.
I mean, it is. Yeah, it is probably one of the better standalone stories of Sandman that I mean, Endless Nights is nice. It gives you all the one shots for all of them. But this it's an overarching contained story between the 6 issues. I mean, I'd put it up there with any of the other ones. In fact, it's not a part of the main story. It doesn't really affect me. I thought it was very good, and it does. It hit the lore spot for me because I really like. I don't want to spoil. What the fuck? The point of this is spoil.
I'm gonna say we're spoiling, Mike.
Space and time are. That's a fantastic answer as to who their parents are.
I mean, it makes sense if you think about it.
Yeah,
those are the parents of the
Endless. That in the shower the other day because, again, we're jumping ahead to questions, but that's probably my answer to Mike's question when we get there. It's oh, that's so good. And I think the first time I read it, maybe because it was so spaced out and I hadn't read everything all at once, or I don't know, but I didn't make the connection in my head that night equals space, and I was oh, I guess that's cool. But when you realize that night is space and time is time, and those are the two things that basically make up the universe,
everything,
and then from there
everything comes from.
Yeah, it's really good shit.
Yes, indeedy. Yeah, it is a very Sandman story for sure.
And I think it's important, actually, what you said, Pat, that it's not essential reading, because I think if it for some reason was if it changed everything or was so essential, so I'd feel it would compromise the previous 10 volumes that we read.
Mm-hmm.
It should fit. It should fit like a puzzle piece, and I think it does in a way that's really clever without feeling contrived. And that's such a hard line to walk when you're doing something like this.
You're not wrong, man. It fits very well, and I was very impressed by the end. I'm oh, okay, and we're back. I think there was even a page where it said, "And we're back." Okay, yep. Okay, we're back. It was cleverly foreshadowing itself, and it was I thought it was a very good example of a Sandman story. If I were to give it a rating, I'd put it at an 8 to 9 out of 10.
Oh, we don't do ratings, Mike.
I know. Shut up. That's why I put it in there in a spot where it can be added up. Because I did it.
I do feel like it does a lot of work, both on the the beginning and end of Sandman to show you like so much context of what was going on with the characters before the story even started, and even a little bit of like after it ended. I really enjoyed getting the brief Daniel scene that we got. Also,
I was expecting more. Like, I saw that it was so early. I was like, okay, there's going to be more Daniel, right? And he never came back. So I was kind of thrown by that, actually. But
I was surprised we got him at all, actually, given that this was always marketed as being like the story that takes place and leads into like how Dream is weakened at the start of Volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was basically the pitch when it was announced. And so I was kind of surprised to see Daniel at all. And like pleasantly surprised, because I was just listening to our Volume 10 discussion today, and I had mentioned in there the story in the desert where both dreams show up, and like how neat that is. And it's always cool to see different versions of the same character in a story. To me, like it's one of the comic gags that I really love. So before we move on from this question, I'm going to make you guys pick like one notable like spread or sequence from the art that you really liked and talk about it.
Why? Why are you going to do this to us? I thought you were a friend.
Because it's so pretty and I want to talk about it. And this is the podcast where we get to do that. I can go first, so you guys, I can vamp a little bit.
Fuck you.
You guys...
No,
go ahead, Mike.
If you're gonna make me do this, I'm going first.
Please do.
But it's actually probably the I can't remember which page it is, but it's the spread where we're seeing all the different species on this that are like it's very early on, and there's just like a mammal species, a sentient plant species, and
page 1. Are you talking about?
The first page.
Page 1. It's delightful. It's great. It's like there. So you start in London, sure, but this ain't no human shit, and it's you got to be impressed by just the cleverness of how far out there he goes. Like a sentient species of plants that are like man-eating plants. That's fantastic. I really appreciated seeing that. It was great, and there is a lot of very impressive art in this story, but it opens up pretty fantastically. Like I think it goes so crazy just so you see how the art is going to progress throughout, and it's worth noting. I thought it was excellent.
Pat, do you want me to stay in line?
You can go next. Go for it.
Okay. The thing that always jumps out to me from this story is also from issue 1, unfortunately, so we're not spreading it around a lot. But it's definitely the sequence with the Corinthian where all the panels are the teeth of his eyes.
From inside, like the viewpoint is his eyes.
Yeah. It's so it's creepy, and like it's such a cool gimmick. And like the last one being a page from Destiny's book, also cool, which leads into another great spread where like Destiny's book becomes the panels of the comic. Oh, J.H.
You're having fun.
I do want to mention quick before we move on too, because this is also an issue 1, that in the scene where Dream like confronts the Corinthian, J.H. Williams like had stenciled some letters into the panel borders that I hadn't seen before I read this for the like third time. And the first 2 pages say, "Where dreams live now," and then it goes, "But sometimes."
This isn't finished?
Yeah, some dreams die. And like that's stenciled into the panel borders of their confrontation in London. And I did not notice it till this third time through.
The story starting off with the dream dying was ridiculous too. I'm like, oh, I guess that's crazy.
That was so odd to me, actually, of like, it was such a big deal that Dream died in volume 9 of Sandman, and here Dream dies and it's just like, oh, it's no big deal. But it's like, it's just an aspect of Dream that is...
Yeah, I don't really quite understand that, but whatever.
I think it's not like so I was trying to make it make sense in my head, and I think the way it's different is that this is just like a portion of the current entity Dream died because that species died. So their dreams don't exist anymore.
Is that what it is?
Versus like the entire personification of Dream dying, which is a different thing. But yeah, that was like, that threw me for a loop. Pat, do you have a piece of art you want to call it?
I think I've been flipping through trying to figure it out. Someone just, threw a question at me out of nowhere, just blindsided me.
I didn't think it would take that much thought,
My
Pat. I thought
God,
you'd know
my
exactly
God.
which page was your
Wow.
favorite.
Wow. I kind of like, I think the City of Stars is probably where I like the art direction the most. When the stars go insane, like when
Show
he's
up,
talking
yeah.
to the one star that's gone, driven mad by the vortex. And then all the other stars reveal that they've also been driven mad by that star, and things get really trippy. That's
So the
pretty cool.
bit of that I really like is at the like near the beginning of issue 4 when all of the buildings like form the words chapter 4 in like really bright colors too. Like that's quite nice. That's a good spread.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous book. There's not any bad art in this one. No kindly ones to see here, except they are in there, but
They are
be
in
better.
there. Kind? We're not kind, are we? What's that cat doing here?
I desire your cat for some reason. I wonder why.
I hadn't
That was
actually picked
hilarious.
up on that.
That's hilarious. No, I can't give the cat.
So I guess my question also is just like a short version of, did you guys both like this volume? I hope you did, because I liked it, and that's why I had us read it.
Yeah,
I think we both liked it.
I gave it an 8 or 9 out of 10. I think implying that I like it.
I think my only problem with it is I don't really like the concept of a dream vortex. It just seems like a nonsense thing that Gaiman created to create a story around, which it is, which maybe there's anything intrinsically bad about that, but it sort of rubs me the wrong way that we don't know why this happens, but it happens and it's a huge deal.
Yeah, it's just like some sort of weird hiccup in the process that can upend an entire universe.
It's the crux of this story, but it also is basically the crux of the entire Sandman series. Is
a lot of it.
The dream vortex that Desire creates by creating a human offspring that is a vortex, so that Dream is forced to kill his own sibling, which then would trigger the kindly ones. Like, it's the whole reason why things go down in the book. And I don't understand what vortexes are, why they happen. It's never truly explained, which I don't really want to happen. I don't know. It's weird. It's complex.
I do have kind of the same issue. You are not alone.
And like, is it only Dream that deals with these like universe-rending irregularities that crop up, or does Death have a vortex thing? Does Despair, like, why does Dream only have a thing that if the dreams of all mortals combined together can destroy the world?
So I was thinking about that, and I feel like it's maybe partially the like dreams define reality thing. So it's like it's a dream cancer, right? So like a dream cancer would eventually grow big enough to like do the more than 1,000 entities thing that is the whole crux of the end of the story. Where if like 1,000 people are like dreaming about like the universe ending, the universe will end, right? So that could be it. That's kind of how I make it make sense in my head, at least. I don't know how it becomes cancerous. That I don't really understand, but you can't kill an idea, Pat. Maybe it's...
That always comes back to V. But yeah, that's my only thing is that I'm not a huge fan of vortexes.
Vortices.
Vortices.
Vivacious vortices.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, it's a fun story. I like that there basically is a beginning, middle, and end to it, which is refreshing. That it doesn't
the fact that it does end on literally the first page of the Sandman.
Yeah.
Really good.
There's a nice bow.
Yeah, that was excellent. That's why I so like the ending of it. It is very well crafted to fit where it should. Not break the thing that was already there. I really like the universe ending though too. The art on the spread where the universe like is where everyone's finally dreaming and it just goes black for pages. I like that.
Mike, you would like the spreads where Dream's penis shows up.
I see a red door and I want to
dream peen. That's true.
Dream peen.
There was a dream peen there. I'm disappointed we didn't get to see Bast more. I was really excited. I was sure she'd be in more of it.
Would feature, yeah.
She was there. She was early. So is Merv. I like Merv. I'm like, God damn it, I gotta keep fucking out.
You gotta give the people what they want, and the people just want Merv.
They do. They want Mervin fucking Pumpkin.
All right, boys. I think we could take either of your questions at this point. Want to flip for it?
I'll go next.
All right.
What is your favorite shit? What is the biggest reveal in the book? I like the reveal about the cat. That to me was yes, the other reveals were great, but I did not expect, and I should have. I should have expected. I should have known who the cat was earlier.
There's a literal heart on its forehead.
Yes, there is. There's a literal heart on its forehead. I should have fucking put two and two together.
I mean, Mike, I don't think I figured it out the first time I was reading until Delirium showed up. So you're not alone in being dumb if you think you're dumb.
Oh, thanks. I do think I'm dumb, but I don't think I figured out till he started talking to till the cat was like, yeah, it was never you. You were never going to accept my help. I did figure it out before the actual reveal at the end, so I take credit in that.
There you go.
But the reasoning was great. Like if everyone's dead, then there's no one to desire either, and I don't want things to. That's I have my own desires, so it was selfishly a reason that would work for her, him, them, whatever. And the way it affected Dream, I'm upset. Like there's not. It's good that they didn't know that this happened during the rest of the story because it would have drastically affected things, I think. But it was. I gotta wonder how Dream would have felt about Desire if it would have affected things had he actually been able to recall the events. I wonder how it would have affected Desire's intentions for him had they been able to remember.
I don't think it really would have, based on that epilogue scene we got. Like, it seemed like Desire was still pretty set on figuring out how to.
They were excited to try to could you imagine if
I made a vortex into
if a vortex was one of us? Oh my god, then he was forced to kill them. I'm pretty sure Desire was still gonna fuck with him.
Yeah, it just happened to work out that their interests lie in the same direction in this instance.
How did Desire trick Destiny? Is what I want to know.
I think because the Saculum is
end up there.
I think the Saculum lets Desire do things that aren't in the book. Essentially, is how I'm reading it.
I thought it just allowed for time travel.
But I mean, time travel
breaks
could
Destiny.
fuck with the book, right? Yeah,
I guess.
Go back and redo the thing. Like Destiny is very much because Destiny is the oldest, right? So basically, once there's space and once there's time, things start happening, and things happening is what Destiny is. So I think getting power from time lets you fuck with the events of Destiny.
There you go. I did like how Destiny was like, Dream, the fuck is your ship doing here? Get it out of here.
So good.
It's not supposed to be here, Dream.
Every single time that Dream is stuck somewhere and gets helped, he's like, I was fine. He was not fine. Reading your
I didn't need your help.
Man. And that makes the reveal of Desire being like, yeah, I tried to help you, man, and you would not take it. So I had to be you. So good. There's so many pieces of this story just working together and also working with pieces of the story that we already know at the same time. So much fun. But yeah, the scene where Destiny's like, brother, your toy is here, and I don't know why. I don't know why.
Not your shit, Dream. It's in my garden.
I thought the Desire reveal was done really well, and also I think commenting on Mike's how would it have affected things. I don't think it would have at all, going forward in the Sandman proper, but it does give you a lot more context for their relationship. Where those two, I think, are the most invested in the universe continuing to exist, maybe which is something we hear so much about how they're similar. Even in this story, Knight says that to Dream, oh, you guys are so similar, and Dream does that thing he does. I love getting shitty, pompous, egotistical nonsense Dream again in this. Volume 1, Volume 2 Dream, where he's just we're not similar. I hate Desire. Desire and I couldn't be more different. bro. You do protest too much.
They're very similar.
Yeah. It's like it
Which
totally
makes
makes sense that those two would be the two who end up working together to do it, but the fact that Desire basically has to like, it is so weird early on, and then like, but you just buy it because like the writing is so good and the line of dialogue is so good where the cat's like, "I'm a cat. The cats can do whatever they want, so I'm still."
Why are you still here? Well, I didn't want to go. Oh, okay.
Oh, all right. That makes sense by the rules of
Goddamn
Sandman
cats.
logic.
Could Dream have avoided the entire story if you just gave family ones?
I don't think so.
He gave the kindly ones what?
Desire.
Or just
I
give him
think it was
desire?
They wanted the cat. And if he was like, yeah, sure, fucking take it. What would have happened? I don't know.
I mean, like you said, it wasn't his to give.
I mean, yeah, but it's a cat. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
I
It
mean,
would have been
again,
hilarious.
even the fact that they were like, "Why is this cat here? This cat's not supposed to be here." I think again speaks to what Pat was saying about like how did any of that happen? And I think it's got to be the Saculum, like letting Desire do
You're
things
right,
that are
events.
not in the thread or not in the book. Yeah, because the thread and the book are actually very similar. Now that I think about it,
Is what the plant burning alive was one attempt, right? Is that what it was? I don't remember now.
I don't think we see the other attempts. I think we're only seeing the third attempt.
I think Desire says one of them died on the bridge to the city because they wouldn't take Desire's help.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if we actually shown.
I think we're only seeing the third attempt because it's timey-wimey stuff, not different personifications of dream stuff.
Sure.
I think the biggest reveal might actually be that the Morpheus we read about for 75 issues is not actually from the universe we were reading in. And I think that might actually play into some of how Sandman goes.
What do you mean he's not from this universe?
I mean, even at the end, right? Like, Glory comments to him. Let me go find the exact, like, quote here.
Because he recreates it, is what you're saying? He's
Yeah,
from the past one that should have died.
he's from the other universe, yeah. So it's like, you saved the universe, you repaired a disaster of your own making. You do not belong in this part of creation. You must be tired.
I think
And,
he
like,
means he's in the wrong part of the universe at the moment.
I don't think he belongs in the universe. I think he's not the correct dream.
I mean, I guess you could read it that way, but I just read it, you're a long way from home.
I mean, that could be true too. I guess part of the other thing I'm thinking about is like when we read, I think it was actually the Kindly Ones. I had happened into some Reddit threads about people talking about like, oh yeah, in Overture, Morpheus learns that like there is another dream that returns the Saculum to his father. So even if subconsciously, like he knows that at some point he has to die.
Well, I suppose because he doesn't have. Maybe. I mean, could it just be him in the future that returns it?
I mean, no, because his father like literally says, "Well, you returned it, but not you. But it doesn't matter." And Morpheus is like, "What?" So I don't know how much he actually absorbs the fact. And the Reddit threads were making a very big deal of this, and maybe a bigger deal than you would like.
Reddit? What?
Right?
Overanalyzing a thing?
Oh, yeah. The Sandman Reddit is actually like kind of fun. I dip in and out. I dipped in for our third question about the first circle too, and I have some Reddit nuggets for that also. But yeah, I don't know. I think like the fact that the Morpheus we see throughout all of Sandman is not actually the Morpheus that like is of the universe that we're reading about is interesting to think about, given the fact that he ends up not quite fitting, right? Like that's part of why he ends up building his Rube Goldberg machine of suicide.
Sure. I still don't think that's what Glory's saying, but yeah, sure.
I mean, it's up to you, man. I've actually always read that way. So that's not a Reddit influenced thought. That's an original Matt Ledger thought.
It's an interesting interpretation for sure.
And I did also like getting the story of Dream and Eleonora, because that's again, as a person obsessed with the Dream Desire feud and how it started and how it's going. That's a key piece of like business that we needed some resolution on. Or
when you posed the question about was the events of Heart of a Star in Endless Nights the kicking off point for their animosity, the feud between the Dream and Desire, I was trying to figure out if the Alanora events happened before or after.
It was
Endless
definitely
Nights.
after, because I went back to look at that today, because I wanted to look at the dream story for, again, reasons
Yeah.
that we'll discuss. And I was reading it, and I was like, oh shit, I was wrong when we talked about Volume 10. This is actually, at least for Dream, the starting point of the Dream Desire feud, because he shows up at the Parliament, or whatever they're calling it, in this, which I think is, oh no, it's not in the City of the Stars, but the Stars are hosting it, I believe.
Correct. Yes.
I just read this today and I'm still fuzzy on it. Sick brain's
Yep.
working overtime. And Dream's all like, Desire is my favorite sibling. You have to meet Desire.
Yeah, but I felt that was him riding the high of being in the middle of a new relationship that Desire gave him. So that was him just being all happy.
So my read of it is that at that point, the Parliament thing where he shows up with Kilala, who is a proto-guardian of the universe, and then she ends up cheating on Dream with her star, which is the star for Oa.
So, oh man, come on.
Stoa is such an ass.
So dreamy. So
He shows
dreamy.
up
I
right
don't
here,
know.
I'm just like, Stoa, get out of here. My read on it is that somehow before that story, Dream had fucked over Desire and not even realized it. And then Desire was like, all right, now I'm going to mess with you. And like, we got part 2 of the feud, but I don't know if we ever got part 1, is now my personal headcanon.
I don't know if Desire needs a reason. I think they just,
I mean, that's also possible.
Fucking with Dream.
Just got the idea in their head and was like, well, I'm going to do this.
But I feel like we've seen a similar, like when Desire has granted something for Dream, and Dream all of a sudden does a 180 on his feelings towards Desire for a short period of time until Desire's trick plays out and he's pissed at them again. Because isn't the same thing that happened with it's not Nuala, what's the first, the lover that he damns to hell first.
Yes.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, it's like Nuala, but not Nuala. Nada, right? Nada?
Yeah, that sounds right.
There you go. I feel like the similar thing happened there, where he's like, "Oh, Desire, you did this for me. It's so great. Oh, it's falling apart, and I hate you. How could you do this to me?" It's goddamn true. So I don't know. I do think it might be the first falling out, but I don't know if there needs to be an instigating. Like, I don't think Desire needs a reason.
A reason? Yeah, that's fair. I think
they just want to piss Dream off.
Yeah, like one of the things I had mentioned in the previous discussion is like the thing I want to see. Like one of the things I want to see is just like 0.0 of the feud. Like when did it start? What happened? And I don't think we've ever seen that, and I don't think we ever will probably. And that's fine at this point. But like,
I mean, I think Heart of the Star is probably closest we'll get to it. But yeah.
Yeah, but like we definitely did get some more context of it when moody emo boy like took this like actually really nice gift that Desire gave to him. And was
did Desire create?
I don't want this anymore. She's got to be from, if not Earth, like at least reality, right? Because she mentions
she says she's made of light.
Go back.
She's a creature of light, I believe is how she describes herself.
Eleonora
and she doesn't have a name. Dream gives her name.
Area. Eleonora name meaning is the second suggested Google search.
Ooh.
It's pity? Damn.
Oh shit. Dream, why would you do that? Fuck.
That's rough.
Pity.
Oh my god, you just doomed the relationship beginning.
Rough.
Let's just let me see, just in case. I'm getting multiple results that say pity. Oh, Dream. You absolute asshole.
He's an asshole.
Also potentially means light, luminous, radiant, brilliant.
Let's go with that.
Sure.
The fact that it potentially means both, I wouldn't be surprised if Neil Gaiman knew it meant both, given
that
he's a deep cut man. Oof.
But yeah, that one has to happen after, because Delight shows up in the middle of her changing into delirium.
Yeah, she's definitely just Delight when they do. I think the Parliament thing is very early on. I think
it's like billions, like eons and eons in the past.
I think they're partially setting the rules of reality. It
gets into my next question.
It does,
think
yes.
That actually might be the first circle. Like the council is happening there in
I don't know if
Heart of the
that's the
Star?
first circle or if Glory is part of the first circle and the first circle attended that. Do you want to jump right to your question right now, or do you want to do your biggest reveal answer?
Oh, I
don't
guess I
think
have
you
mine.
actually
Yeah.
did.
I guess mine, I had a hard time because I think for me, probably the biggest, obviously, was Desire. Being a cat that said it was Dream. Also, I think Space and Time being mommy and daddy was pretty fun.
Space and Time's so good. And I just can't believe
That's
I
so
didn't
good.
get that until this like second time I read it.
It just makes so much sense, and I love that. And it's like gave me a little happy feeling. It's like, yes, that makes total sense. Neil, good going. But to be different and to have my own unique answer, I'm going to say the fact that Mad Hetty is immortal, I think, because the Seculum was hidden in her dreams. I think she had time powers or immunity because she
As a
had a
result of that?
powerful artifact hidden in her dreams.
So is she gonna die soon now?
Maybe.
Huh.
Because Daniel takes it from her, she might die. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Huh.
Maybe she's been infected by it. It's been festering in her dreams for so long.
Hundreds of years, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I thought that was fun.
Ah.
That was my stretch. I had to find.
I mean, we talked about a lot of them.
But yeah, so my question, going after what we were just talking about, is what's up with that Council of the First Circle? Huh? Who's Glory? What's Glory about?
I have no clue. Tell us about it, man.
Well, he looks like Isaac Asimov, and I have no idea what to do with that.
I didn't know what Isaac Asimov looked like until I started doing my Reddit deep dive conspiracy research on what the first circle is. And then so it was like, he looks like Isaac Asimov. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I guess he looks like Isaac Asimov.
There's a whole thing, I think one of the dream aspects calls Glory Shekhinah, which is a Jewish Christian term for the glory of the divine presence. Like, you could almost say it's the Holy Spirit, but I don't want to go quite that far.
I think you probably do, actually. I think you actually do.
I don't want to do that.
Because I think I've puzzled together a theory based on Grant Morrison Justice League comics, Reddit deep dives, and the two other appearances of Glory that we have, which Pat, you also know of the two other appearances of Glory, yes?
Well, he's in Heart of a Star. He's talking about the creation of Fairy.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not actually a place, it's like
it's a concept.
Aspiration.
Yeah,
something like that.
So he's there, and I don't, like we were saying, I don't know if it's true. I like the idea that the conference is the meeting of the first circle, but again, it might not be. And like Matt said, maybe it's just Glory representing the first circle at whatever this council is deciding.
That is what I believe. I think either of us could be correct.
Yeah, it sort of neatly fits if it is the first council, but I don't know. I don't know if Neil had fully formed his ideas of what the first council was when he did Heart of Star. Who knows? And then he also appears in another Gaiman series called The Books of Magic, which is sort of similar to like a Harry Potter analog, but much more fun, much more dark, where a young boy becomes, is it like the Master of Magic? I don't remember what his title is.
Something like that, yeah. It's been a while since I read it also.
But this young boy becomes like super powerful wizard, and all of the magic users of DC, or most of them, show up to help teach him magic. And in one of the issues, I think it's like issue 2, Glory shows up and talks to him a little bit. So yeah, Glory's been around. And I don't want to say that he's the literal like presence of Judeo-Christian God.
I don't think he has
maybe is
God. So Judeo-Christian, sorry.
Yeah. No,
I went to Catholic school, so I know stuff. So I don't think you have to say Judeo-Christian God, because like DC has this concept of like the creator, and it's just called the presence, like to make it
nice.
Religion agnostic.
Yeah,
and like the presence has angels, like literally one of them is a member of the Justice League, so that's a thing.
Well, I mean, we got Lucifer and angels in this already, so quote unquote God is already a presence in these stories.
So that's kind of actually where I'm where the Reddit research pops in, because I popped into this thread where basically like there's a person talking about how there's God, the presence, the creator, whatever, and like Lucifer and Michael, like the Archangel Michael, who I think is most famous for like wearing a toga and having a flaming sword. Angel with a flaming sword, so fucking badass. Which again,
I like the
that Justice League member also has a flaming sword. Is not Michael the Angel though. Are like direct extensions of God, Lucifer and Michael, and so like apparently they are like God's will and God's power. And so then I was like, oh wait, in like the Lord's Prayer, there's the will, the power, and the glory are yours.
Mm-hmm.
And like that totally makes sense as a thing that like Neil Gaiman would know about or reference. I also might be off in Apophenia land where I'm just like making things make sense.
How many comments on
Dan Brown would like to have a word with you. I'm sorry, Mike, I spoke over you. What were you saying?
I'm just wondering how many comments on these Reddit threads does it take to get to that?
It's literally the top comment,
main post.
The first Reddit thread about the first circle that I found. I have 3 of them that I bookmarked this weekend before we talk. But like it totally makes sense to me that there would be the will, the power, and the glory, and that's the like first council. Like those are the 3 like I guess representatives of the presence that are like responsible for helping set the rules of reality along with the endless and the stars, I guess, and whatever else was at that parliament. Like, so that's what makes sense to me. And then also like Lucifer is probably also not a member of the first council anymore, if I had to guess. But who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to have entities that seem to have a higher authority than the endless, right?
Yeah,
like
I don't know if it's higher. I think it might just be different.
But Glory says it's glory of the first circle. So like whatever he is, he derives his authority from the first circle. And the first circle is the one that has laid out all the rules that Dream loves to adhere to.
He really does. Oh, he talks about rules so much in his book. I love it. The bit where Eleonora shows up and is like, rules, if you're into those, we're going to have trouble.
We're gonna have
oh, God, you're going to have some fucking trouble.
You don't even know. You don't even know. But yeah, so like, if glory is a stand-in for the presence of the creator, it is time and... Do they call her Night in this? I don't remember what her actual...
Yeah.
Like, are they also members of the first circle?
I would think not. So the way I would do it then is there's the creator who has these 3 representatives, will, power, glory. And those representatives like help with the rules of the universe, which then the universe is space and time, and then the endless.
You're saying the creator dictated all the rules?
The creator is at least involved in the rules, yeah.
If he's going to create it, he might as well have some say over what goes on.
He's the programmer, Pat. We're all in a simulation, right?
Oh my god.
We're all living in a simulation.
Zeros and ones. I'm a 0 person.
The creator is the programmer, and glory is one of the subroutines of the program, setting the constants.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole other like dimension to this story of the Sandman that I think there's 1 or 2 references to the first circle in Sandman proper.
Yeah, I know I read somewhere in one of my deep dives that like Desire swears on the first circle at some point. So
yeah, I also saw that. I didn't actually look up to see the actual reference, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool that it was hinted at, and it's also sort of cool that we don't know anything about it. I
love that when Glory shows up, it's not like, I am Glory of the first circle, this is the first circle, this is how it works. Like, that's so much of what I love about what this volume is doing, and that it answers some questions, it lays down some other ones, but it's never more concerned with that than, like, being a compelling story. And Glory showing up, being, hey, the universe is breaking, is like, that's the part of the story, right? Like, that's the part that's important for the story, and it leaves us with some like groundwork to start laying, like filling in the gaps ourselves, like we're doing on the podcast essentially.
Yeah, and I think it is essential for stories to have those spaces for people to fill, because anything that we can think of like is much more exciting than if you were just to say, well, it's this. It's like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing for me to do other than just to accept that that's what it is.
Yeah.
But there again, I want to know more. So it's a two-edged sword.
It really is, right? Like we were talking about how there's like you don't really have any like quote or funny desire to see like the beginning of the Dream Desire feud. Like there doesn't even need to be one to you. And whereas I'm just like kind of obsessed with it now.
I want to know. Yeah. Why does he look like Isaac Asimov? That's so weird.
Because Isaac Asimov set the rules of robotics and the universe is a
Oh
simulation.
my god!
Pat.
Oh my god!
Pat.
Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
I hate that theory makes so much sense.
Doesn't it, though? Look at us go, baby! We're solving it all.
I hate it. Do you think so? Okay, let's be a little more biological now. If time and space are the parents,
Mm-hmm.
how old are the Endless? Like, are the Endless born as they're needed, or are the Endless?
I mean, they're as old as the universe,
Top
roughly,
left
right?
third.
I think they
all birth
existed
simultaneously.
I think they existed
like,
as creation became real. Like the moment creation started, destiny was a thing. The moment
But then what's the point
a
of
thing,
parents?
the moment a thing lived, death had to be a thing because it needs to end. Like I think they appear as creation needed them to appear.
So they're not so much. So in that case, the parents aren't so much parents; they're just creators themselves.
Well, I mean, given enough time, anything can happen. So I mean, it's the Big Bang. Like it's. There was nothing, and then there was everything.
That's what Time called it too, the Big Bang.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that could literally be what the first circle is, by the way. Just the hyper compressed matter before the Big Bang.
Kablooey.
Louis.
Here's one for you guys.
Okay.
So we've got space and time. We've got the Endless. What the hell's Dusk? Who's Dusk?
Didn't they say it was a distant sister or something like that?
I read that online somewhere, but I don't remember reading it in the text the other day when I looked at those pages multiple times. Because, like, she says, "Let me take you to your mother," as though they don't have the same mother.
Sure. Does she show up? Like, she's at the beginning when she talks about there being a war. Does she show up again, Dusk?
She shows up when Dream pops into Night, because she, like, basically takes Dream out of the black hole and over to talk to Night.
Oh, okay.
And that's when she's like, "Let me take you to your mother." And I'm like, okay, wait, this doesn't make sense. Like, Dream knows who she is, so... That's a new question. we filled in some gaps and we got some new gaps, which honestly is what I want, like what I would have wanted. Would have been very disappointed to like just get everything solved.
Can't have all the answers solved.
I'm desperately trying to find.
Now Pat's trying to figure out what Dusk is.
Yeah, I guess I must have read the same Reddit thread that you did.
I was gonna say I'm looking at the reference to and was described as a distant sister here, but I do not see that in the book.
And she's with Night when she's bathing. I guess they might be like inferring because Night calls her yes child, but maybe. That's a stretch.
There's a stretch.
Just because she called her a child doesn't mean that she's literally.
And again, I would say the thing that Dusk says, where she says, "Let me take you to your mother," would very much overrule the other slightly oblique thing.
Yeah.
The Sandman wiki says, "Is Night's handmaiden," but again, that feels like something someone just made up, so...
Well, I mean, she is Night's handmaiden.
True.
She acts in that capacity.
That's not what I want to know, though.
Who is she? Well, Dusk is literally what? The beginning of Night?
The beginning of Night, yep.
Yeah.
So whatever that means.
It's all just
maybe it's a younger version of Night? I don't know. They do look similar to each other.
But then wouldn't dusk just still be night? Ah, fuck.
I don't know. We just saw a
Zero's
whole
the one
lot of
that-
dreams talking to each other that there were earlier versions of, talking to later versions of. The Cthulhu dream was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even talk about the 4-page fold-out spread. You guys have the collected edition, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Or did you guys go digital?
I have the physical book. Mike, did you get a digital version, or you have a?
Oh yeah, we went over to Barnes and Noble, and I found a physical copy.
Nice.
So
You got a
How-
I've been
hardcover,
added
right?
to my bookshelf. Yep, hardcover.
How
even.
does the fold-out work in the collected edition? Because I have
Awkward.
the literal single issues.
I was wondering how it worked in the single issues. It folds out from the inside, so it's just like it's got 2 pages, and then they're folded over in half.
Yeah, there are extra
then they
large
fold out.
pages that are folded.
Okay, yeah, it's similar then.
Okay. I can't imagine getting a fold out in a single issue. That's nuts.
Oh, they happen. I mean, it was surprising for sure and like very neat. I do think this is one of the most like technically good volumes
I
of
like
Sandman
them
for a lot of
in
reasons.
I like them in theory, but practicality, I'm not a fan of fold
That's
out
fair.
spreads. I appreciate the art, but I can't, like, I'm so worried of ripping them when I like pull them out. I don't know. I'd rather just have it smaller on a page that I feel like I wouldn't tear as I try to examine it. But yeah, have we done it, guys? Are we done
We discussed
discussing?
the Sandman.
Oh my gosh.
We did it.
Now, we finished volume 0, which is actually 12.
It's time we put the Sandman to bed.
Wait for it.
Oh.
Oh.
Just end on that.
Yep, done. Well, now that we've finished the Sandman, of course, we've all prepared recommendations, right? If you like the Sandman, you should be reading.
I was wondering whether you wanted to do recommendations at the end of this one or not.
I mean, if you got them, you can throw them out.
I mean, I've
If you like
heard
the Sandman, you should watch Battlestar Galactica. Best show that's ever been made. And then listen to Battlestar Bros, the best podcast that's ever been made. Besides
So
this
true.
one.
So true.
Commander Shepard said so, and I believe her.
She did. It's true.
No, I mean, like, I've heard the current Sandman stuff is good. I mean, I know Mike really likes those Death miniseries, which I think I've read like once and don't remember enough about to recommend them.
I did enjoy the Death miniseries. They were good. But then again, I like Death, the character. So it's maybe up my alley. Otherwise, I would recommend that we peruse some Dogman books, because Dogman is a fantastic comic book character that carries a lot of weight.
Oh, no, Mike, not for us. Not recommendations for us. Recommendations for people that like the Sandman.
Well, they should like Dogman too. It's Dogman. Okay.
It's like Sandman. You just change
It's like a Sandman, only it's a dog.
I will say Dogman actually similarly wild from what I've read of it. Pat, you got anything? Otherwise, I have one more.
Like, it's tough. Other than Sandman, I don't really read much like horror comic books. I guess in that vein, the closest I can get is Matt, help me. What's the series? You know, when Lock and Key.
I was gonna say you have to say something about it.
No, I said it was a horror series. You should know what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Lock and Key is probably the closest I could do for like a horror comic book. I have been meaning to read was it Junji Ito? Is that what it is?
Yeah, some of those are good. Not really the same thing, I feel like.
No, that's more shock horror kind of stuff. Otherwise, Saga, I feel like, touches on the kind of grand scope that Sandman does. More contemporary, more...
Yeah, I would say that's a good recommendation. Just like very similar. Like if you want to just get invested into a world and go really deep into it.
I haven't read much beyond. I haven't read anything past volume 1, but Monstrous. I really liked the world building that do. Like it's really in depth and reminds me of the kind of world building that Gaiman does. I don't know where it goes. I don't know if it holds up, but I've enjoyed the first volume.
I've been told it holds up.
Sweet.
But I don't know.
Hey guys, I got a comic book series.
You do, yeah.
No, we can't do that one yet.
Oh, you're right.
Jump
I'm
in.
sorry. You submitted your questions first. You have.
So I think actually the spiritual successor to Sandman, as far as like a long-running comic series that's kind of about stories and also like has really deep lore and also is very good, is The Wicked and the Divine. Actually,
Oh, interesting. I thought you were going to say die.
no, I mean I really like Die. I don't think it's quite the same thing. And like The Wicked and the Divine to me, part of it is that like it runs so long, like in the same way that Sandman's like what an 81 issue thing for what we read, plus 6 more for Endless Nights, so
Sure.
somewhere near 90. Like The Wicked and the Divine is like it's long running. There are mysteries throughout that you want like explanations for. There's deep lore. Like it definitely is, at least in some parts, like about stories, at least the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, for sure. Like, and the art's so fucking good. Like the art, like in a way that Sandman, honestly, as we read through it, I was like, oh, this is kind of inconsistent actually. Like The Wicked and the Divine's mostly Jamie McKelvey and Matt Wilson throughout it, and they're very good. So I like, if I had one recommendation for someone to jump over, it might actually be Saga. You might actually be more right than me, Pat, but my second one would definitely be The Wicked and the Divine.
Sure, I can see that. I still need to finish that.
Good, Pat. That's one we should do. That's one we should do.
I got to the part where things get really crazy, and it's like, oh god, I had to step away, and I never came back. So I got to do it.
Yeah, boys, I really enjoyed doing this with you. So we'll do something again for sure.
This is not the last you've heard of us. Soon, Attack on Titan.
Oh, I don't know about that.
So yeah, that I think is actually going to wrap us all up. If you stuck around for even a little bit of this nonsense, I thank you. That's great.
I applaud you. You have our respect. Congratulations.
Perseverance. You've done it. And yeah, we'll probably be back with some other nonsense. Just give us time. Time and space, and anything can happen.